Harrison Bader's tearing it up for the Yankees, and this is, of course, has been met with the predictable reactions. But if you just look at what he's done and you put it in historic context, it's really something, because he's. It's not as if the Yankees have had a lot of center fielders in recent years that have, homered up. But anyway, if you just want to talk about, and this is a note from ESPN, Bader's hit 3 home runs in his first 4 postseason games as a Yankee. And according to ESPN, you got to go all the way back to 1939 to find the last Yankee to do that. 5-time World Series champion Charlie Keller. So he's done something in this series that no Yankee has done since 1939. And Bader also joined Bernie Williams and Mickey Mantle as the only Yankee center fielders with 3 home runs in a single postseason. And I know that there are more postseason games now, but that's not really the point, because he's only played in 4 for the Yankees. It's not like he's got 3 home runs after like 3 postseasons as a Yankee, so that's pretty impressive. Bader was talking about, one of his friends was quoted in an ESPN story as saying that Bader understood why the Cardinals traded him, but Bader added, "I'm going to make them see this was a bad decision." I think when you get traded, that's a natural response. I don't blame a guy for feeling that way. You want to show the team that who traded you that you're better than they thought. And hey, don't you think Jordan Montgomery felt the same way when he came over to St. Louis after that trade, or in that trade? Of course he did. And he had a chip on his shoulder. He had an attitude. So if he did, why wouldn't Bader? He's a prideful guy. So he's been really good, and he's really laying it on thick with the Yankees. But then again, it's the Yankees. He said a lot of organizations that are not like the Yankees. What I mean by that is that it's just the standard that the players hold themselves to day in and day out. The staff that's surrounding the players. It's such a winning culture, a winning mentality. The fans, the level of expectation they have is high, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I just view being traded here very serendipitously, and I look to take advantage of it every single day. Yankees do have a winning culture, but he just left a winning culture. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. They've repeatedly flunked in the postseason. But I get his point. I get his point. But the Yankees are right up there with the Dodgers as far as having all the money in the world, access to any player they want, or just about. Humongous TV revenue. I mean, just right on down the list. Money is not an object, and despite having these incredible built-in advantages, been a long time. 1988, last full season, the Dodgers have won a World Series. 2009, last time the Yankees have done it. No doubt that these are great franchises and they win a lot, but they've been coming up short in October. However, maybe Bader's changing all that. I mean, Aaron Judge ain't hitting this so far this postseason. Maybe he will tonight. Game 5, winner take all against Cleveland. But Bader's arrival and him sort of being planted in the outfield, where after the long recovery from plantar fasciitis, is right on time. I mean, he's made a huge impact in the series, and much credit goes to him. Now, of course, locally, you could predict the reaction like with 100% certainty. All the people that hated Bader now love Bader. All the people just like, that guy, he's a showboat. He doesn't hit, he's never going to be consistent. I wish they'd get him out of here. So they got him out of here, and he's hit 3 home runs for the Yankees, and it's now those damn stupid Cardinals. I hate that front office. Bader was the heart and soul of this team. We could have used him against the Phillies, Same people that wanted to run him out of town and condemned him like basically the entire time he was here. And my theory has always been, if we're talking about the guys, they're jealous that their girlfriends or wives thought he was cute. That's all it came down to. There was nothing more to it than that. Oh, he's cute. Oh, look at those curls. I love the way he runs so fast and, every part of his body's moving. He's exciting. And meanwhile, boyfriend or husband is like under his breath, I can't stand that son of a... Right?
Yep.
So, if I may be, just a tad insufferable, I just want to throw something into the proceedings. At the time they traded him, I said on this show, I wrote it at scoopswithdennymac.com, not in a huge way. I mean, not in a big, full column way. But I said it here on the air three times. I wouldn't be surprised if Bader hits really, really well when he's going to, now that he's joining the Yankees, if he's healthy, when he's ready to go physically. I wouldn't be surprised that he's successful, much more successful as a hitter. So now I can read all of your minds. You're saying, oh, see? He gets away from Jeff Albert. See? He just needed to get away from Jeff Albert. Damn that Jeff Albert. No, you're right in a little way because Bader did need to get away from something. It wasn't Jeff Albert, though. His entire time here, Bader did not hit at all, hardly any, at Busch Stadium. When he went on the road, he hit up a storm. The numbers are glaring. When I first looked at this earlier this season, when he was still a Cardinal, I was like, I know that Bader has been not good at home. Number one, I had no idea how bad he was hitting at Busch Stadium, which is a pitcher's park. And number two, I had no idea that he was so dang good on the road when he was away from Busch Stadium. So I got to share these numbers with you. So, Bader at home as a Cardinal, 256 games, right? Regular season only, 256 games. He hit 210 when he was away from Busch Stadium. As a Cardinal, he hit 280, 70-point difference.
Oh.
Right. His on-base percentage at Busch Stadium as a Cardinal, 295. Away from Busch Stadium, 343. That is a difference of 48 points. Slugging at Busch Stadium, 339. On the road as a Cardinal, 477. I didn't do the math there. Whatever 477 minus 339 is, it's a big difference.
Yes, it is.
His OPS at Busch, 635. His OPS away from Busch as a Cardinal, 820. So that's, wow.
Yeah. That's unbelievable numbers.
I'm getting out the old calculator here. And
you can figure that out.
I know.
I didn't think there was that big a difference.
I didn't
between,
either. I didn't
home
either.
and away, and wow, because when you brought up this question. Well, what's the difference? I thought, well, maybe it's the same difference when we saw Montgomery come here as well. The teams aren't familiar with him, so maybe that's it. But my goodness, those numbers have completely changed my mind. To it's Busch Stadium and everywhere else.
He just never got comfortable hitting there. And look, the dimensions, it wasn't so bad this year. The Cardinals as a team did much better hitting at Busch Stadium than they have for a while. But he clearly just wasn't confident there. He likes to swing for power. I'm sure he had a lot of fly balls, die on the warning track or whatever. But, another little surprising stat that I saw. All right, Bader, again, he played 256 regular season games at Busch, right? You know how many home runs he had that entire time? 16.
Whoa, that's not many at all.
That's a home run every 47 at-bats at Busch Stadium. Keep that in mind, a home run every 47 at-bats at Busch Stadium. You know what his road home run ratio was? He hit a homer every 21.6 at-bats. I mean, look at the huge difference there, right?
Big time.
And when he was facing right-handed pitchers at Busch Stadium, 665 plate appearances, he hit 10 home runs. But his numbers against right-handed pitchers at Busch Stadium, because he had trouble with right-handed pitchers, as we know. He hit 205. He had a 294 on-base percentage. He slugged only .312, and he was basically 30% below average offensively. So if you're Bader, you got to be thrilled. And listen, man, he paid tribute to St. Louis when he left. And, he's very sincere. He loved being a Cardinal. He was really shocked to be traded. He actually told John Mozeliak, say it ain't so. And that part of him, once the shock wore off, he realized, number one, he's joining a team that's got a better chance to go all the way. Not that they will. Number two, he's going to be playing in a ballpark 11 miles from where he grew up. And number three, he's going to be, operating at a place where it's much easier to hit for power and home runs and doubles than Busch Stadium, because Busch Stadium just really suppressed his offense. And I'm not sure why it was to that harsh extent. I mean, I could understand where his road numbers would be better than his home numbers. I get it. I think that's true of a lot of Cardinals. There'll be a difference, but this was like a massive difference. And I don't know whether it was a confidence thing or it just sort of got in his head. Because, like I said, man, the way Arenado, for example, will he'll just crush a pitch, and he's almost like in disbelief that it's caught like at the warning track. Mm-hmm. And, Bader probably had a lot of those and probably does mess your head a little bit, right? But I'm happy for him. If other people want to use this as, yet another way to attack Jeff Albert, or if you want to be a liar or a phony and you want to say, like, I knew they made a mistake. Well, what were you saying before the trade? You were saying exact opposite. But if you want to play that game, go ahead. I don't care. It's funny, actually. So we'll see how he does the rest of the way. It's a big game tonight. Imagine if he hits a home run tonight.
Oh, my goodness.
Because Judge ain't doing much.
No. He would be a legend instantaneously in New York for quite a while if he hits another one tonight. No matter what they do the rest of the playoffs, he would become an instant legend there. I mean, it'd be great for him. Baseball happens in the playoffs, man. I mean, again, he's another storyline that we spoke of earlier, where it's time. It happens. You know what? He wasn't great in the regular season. He was hurt. And back to the trade point, it was, how did we get Montgomery, a lefty starter quality, for an injured player that might not play at all this year? That was a steal. Now you're like, whoa, Cardinal fans are going, wait a minute. Why did we trade him? It happens.
Because you desperately needed a starting pitcher, and the guy who came in here did a hell of a job. It is the proverbial trade that helped both teams. It just took a while for Bader to be able to play. But it's there's no – I don't see any need for hatred here. I don't think this has this doesn't have a damn thing to do with Randy Arozarena. I mean, I see Claude's locally, couldn't wait to throw his name in there again. You traded Randy Arozarena for a guy. First of all, you never gave him an opportunity. And then you traded him for a guy who, Liberatore, a lot of the prospect geeks like him. We think he's going to be really, really good, and we're still waiting for that to happen. And the reliever you got in that deal, no, that wasn't in that deal, I don't think. When did Cabrera came over for FAM? Yeah, I take that back.
That was a different one, yeah.
But my point is, like, it's one thing to trade Harrison Bader, who doesn't hit well at all. I just gave you the numbers. I mean, just for whatever reason, terrible hitter at Busch Stadium. But you didn't trade him for a might kind of guy, like, well, one day, maybe type of guy. You traded Arozarena for that. You didn't trade Bader for that. You traded Bader because your rotation was hemorrhaging, and it's almost impossible for them to lose the NL Central, which is the garbage dump of Major League Baseball. But that rotation was so much better because of Montgomery and Quintana. And that's when the Cardinals really went on their run. Their offense perked up. The rotation became top 5, top 6 in the majors in the second half, at least for a long time. So the Cardinals got what they needed, and they also have Montgomery under control contractually for next season. If you're the Yankees and you're, especially if you're Brian Cashman, it took so much heat for this trade. Cashman gets the last laugh in terms of this year simply because the Cardinals are gone. They're 2 games and done because the manager screwed up game 1, the bullpen was terrible, and guys that have to hit did not hit at all. They're paralyzed by pressure. So if you're Brian Cashman, you were telling everyone, well, just be patient. We got to get him well. Now he's, when he gets healthy, we're confident he's going to help us. Well, yeah. Now, if they get knocked out tonight, even though Bader's had 3 home runs in the first 4 games, no one's going to be doing any crowing. But, I mean, to this point, that's why I said to this point, Brian Cashman could say, I told you so. And there's an element of truth to that, obviously. So I just wish, in general, one of the things that would make me happiest this whole offseason, Jim, is that the Cardinals just straighten out their outfield.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
But I said it 100 times already, one more time. If they trade O'Neill, a lot of people are tired of O'Neill. But if they trade him, oh, yeah, there's no doubt wherever he goes, he's got 40 bombs next season. That's just the way it works, right?
40 bombs in about 149 games played. You're like, that never happened.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So we'll see what's happened. By the way, do I have time just for a few more minutes? Or actually, yeah. I can let it go when we come back.
No, we're good because Greg Rosenthal is at 5:30, so we still got about 4 or 5 minutes here before we got a break.
I was reading Derek Gould's piece Sunday in the Post-Dispatch about the Cardinals looking ahead and the season disappointment and, how do they bridge the gap? And there's no hardcore answers because, again, all together now, the postseason is random. But, yeah, there are some trends that need to be fixed, like the offense. And I tell you another trend that needs to be fixed, and I had a note on this the other day. Everybody talks about the offense, as they should, in terms of like 2019 through this postseason. The Cardinals have lost 9 out of their last 10 games, and we all know that. And they've had way too many bad days offensively. One thing that people don't talk about, and I'm not sure why people ignore other real flaws that have consistently hurt this team during this stretch of postseason games. Bullpen's got an ERA over 5, okay? And all you got to do is take a look around, even this year, so far in the postseason. And you can see that, listen, as I keep saying, nothing is 100%. There are always exceptions. But the teams that have had outstanding bullpen work so far, they're still playing ball. If you hit home runs and you get a great set of gigs from your bullpen, chances are you're going to do really, really well in the playoffs. And by the way, the teams that have hit more homers in a game this postseason, they're 11-5.
That says all you need to know right there. Wow.
So you take that and you take a stout bullpen, you're going to go places. If you have a lousy offense where the players can't handle pressure and they, basically they just continue to choke in big spots, and that's been going on since that 2019 NLCS. When you have players that aren't wired for big moments in the postseason, and you have a bullpen you can't trust, tell me where you're going. Where are you going? You going home? Maybe go on a cruise down to Bahamas or something, but where are you going? You ain't going to the next round. Certainly ain't going to the World Series. So my point is that the Cardinals have more than one flaw to address. And one other note, real quick. Derek Gould mentioned in the piece, they have to address catcher. And he mentioned that they're going to take a look at Tucker Barnhart. And it's like, here we go again. Oh. What the hell is wrong with these people? You have a chance to add a catcher and really make an impact with the addition of a catcher for the first time since Mike Matheny was your starting catcher, 2000, I think, is when he came aboard. 2001, one of the two. And it's an opportunity you shouldn't miss. It's an opportunity you shouldn't take the half measure, or the opportunity that you should just sort of dismiss or downgrade. Tucker Barnhart this year, can I give you his numbers and that'll be it? We'll revisit this later. You know what he did this season at the plate? And tell me if this doesn't sound like the two catchers they had, the Cardinals. He hit .221. His on-base percentage was .287. You know what his slugging percentage was? .267.
Oh.
He was 37% below the league average offensively, and wins above replacement, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
WAR. He was below the replacement level. And that includes defense, offense, base running. He was below the replacement level. So you got a 40-year-old catcher that's moving on, he's retiring, and who hasn't hit. I mean, we all know what happened. He got old. But he hasn't hit, and as I mentioned, the Cardinals the last two seasons were last in the majors at the catcher position in terms of wins above replacement. Dead last. And so your answer could be to go get well, you know how we fix this, Gersh? You know how we get her done? Let's go get another catcher that's below the replacement level in terms of value. It was just, we got Kisner's below replacement level. Yachty's been below replacement. Let's go get another one.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
Sometimes I wonder, am I the crazy one?
Are we trying to win? This is the reaction I get to that one. Are we even trying?
Why aren't more media people raising hell about obvious things? This isn't like a tangent. You know what I'm saying? This isn't like talking about something esoteric. You haven't had a chance to find a new catcher since 2000, 2001. Now you have a chance, and it's the weakest area of your team. Let's go get that Tucker Barnhart. He's a gamer.
Oh, my goodness.
But he can't play. His defensive metrics are sort of crashing down. All right, I'll shut up now.